Pew Science.
Josh Zuby Zabrickus. These pretzels are making me super thirsty.
Gavin from TerraTech Industries.
Hey, this is Matt the Crypt, and you should be watching Y50.
I'm Dustin, king of the airwaves. Hello, la la la.
Well, hello there. Wow. Episode 19 of our fancy podcast here at Behind the Bunker Studios. My name is Todd Ansich. I am your host this evening with my friends Josh Zuby Zabrickus.
Sup?
Jamie King.
Hello.
Joe Kimson.
Greetings.
Dustin Schnitzelholst back in our research department.
Wow.
Very nice. And Matt Cripp.
Ahoy, ahoy.
Now, Dusty, as I said before on the pre-show, there's something I would like you to research. I neglected. I had a busy week this week organizing the new studio, and I did not find out if the strike loader is available this week or not. Can you look up to see if the strike loader is
what are you talking about?
Well, I promised people at home.
Each time you're sleeping curled up in the corner.
I promised people at home we would let them know as soon as the strike loader out because it's so awesome. The other thing, guys, how would you like to win Living Legends tickets? A couple of free cases of paint while you're there, your air tickets, and a free hug from Sean Scott. All you need to do, guys, to be entered in the draw for this week is to get on Behind the Bunker's Facebook page and post a picture of yourself playing paintball or in paintball attire so we can see what our audience looks like. Subi's got a little bit of a voyeuristic instinct, so he would like to see.
That's you, not me.
Yeah, so get it up. Put your picture on our Facebook page and be entered in our draw to win. Guys, there is a ton of questions that you guys sent in this week, and I have to say, I will congratulate you guys. You had some really, really good questions sent in this week. Not that the last couple weeks haven't been great, but some new, fresh perspectives and some questions. So why don't we get to some of those? Anything that you guys want to chit-chat about before we start the show?
Just talking amongst ourselves.
No, I wasn't calling you out. I meant, like, is there anything that you guys want to talk about?
I want to tell you that at last week's show I listened to on the podcast. I typically don't listen to the podcast, but I wanted to listen to Poetry Corner again, and so at about the 28-minute mark of last week's show, you can listen to Poetry Corner in rewind. And I played it for my wife. I played it for Sean. And I paid it for Mike Burnett, and they all quite enjoyed Jamie's poem.
So, as you heard it right from Joe's mouth, he does not listen to our podcast each week. You should not be like Joe Kimson.
I have them on my communication device here, but I have listened to it. We've been taken to listening to it as we drive about. So I have it here.
Oh, we have multiple phones that you guys
Wonder
are not
Twin
seeing us on
iPhones activate
on our podcast. All right, guys. So we have lots of questions to get to tonight. Matt or Dusty, why don't you guys start us off?
Dusty's still busy researching the strike.
Yeah. Loader. If you go to their Facebook page, there's no good news. There's a whole bunch of people saying it was a big scam and you stole their money and all sorts of stuff like that. Strike Loader, if you go to their Rocket Hub page, they say they were supposed to be released in February, shipping end of February, early March. Nobody's actually seen anything yet. They did raise $24,000, which was above their goal. So, in theory, they should be shipping, but it is not available yet.
I have one. We had a fan on us. I have a Strike Loader. I'm not allowed to show anybody. I use it when I.
Todd, I'm thirsty. Can you get something from the fridge, please?
Rumpus about my house. Can you not put it on rotate? I would like to have it on wind, like real wind, so it blows.
Yeah, oscillating wind
intermittently, which is the wind function.
Yeah, I love going from cool to hot to cool to hot to cool to hot. Put it on oscillating.
It's fine.
All right, people listening at home don't care.
Yeah,
no, they don't.
Now Todd back here. What did you do?
What did you say?
Whoa!
Wow.
Jeez.
All right, while Todd is fixing the air, Carter McDonald asks, "Hey guys, it's my first time watching the show live." I assume when he wrote the question.
Poor guy.
But I listen to the podcast all the time. I have a question that would like you to answer on the show or on the podcast.
Okay, we're ready.
What is your opinion on the Azoden Chaos Pump?
Well, you know what? Here it is. Not everybody can afford, the top of the line, auto cocker pumps, anything else. That one is about a mid-range pump. It would be similar to, let's say, an Empire Tracer.
Tracer's been discontinued,
hammer.
but the Spider's Hammer 7 is nice, and it's mag-fed.
Yeah. If you think it looks cool and that's what you can afford, that's probably one of the better ones in that price bracket. I would definitely try it. We implore anyone to get into pump.
Yes, pump. Lots of pump.
What kind of brackets it in, Todd?
The circular ones, not the box brackets. Yeah.
Yes.
Very
no,
good.
You're not, what?
Price range
What range
between
is it?
$200 and $300.
Okay.
Yeah, if that. I don't even think it's that.
The Azodin's like $149
Yeah.
or something. Canadian, it could be less in the United States of America. Oh, say, can you see? That's all.
All right,
I got.
another quick question so we can stop him from singing.
William says get a Phantom instead.
Yeah, but Phantoms are pretty pricey as well.
Yeah.
Like that
They're up there.
That's not $147. It's a good idea, but yeah.
White feathers.
I'd still say for $200, $250, look for a used cocker pump.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
You know,
going to tell
I've had-
you that White Feather said to get a Hammer 7, and obviously he likes that gun, and I'm going to say since he took a submarine to a game in Dubai, he could probably afford the Phantom.
Well, yeah,
And he likes
especially if
the
he has
Hammer
his
7?
own submarine.
Yeah. And he likes the Hammer. Hammer.
He likes to hammer, does he?
Hammer time.
Proper. All right.
All right, Jory Zona wrote in, what is the best thing to do to upgrade my Tippmann 98 Custom? It already has an Apex barrel and extendable stock.
Could you have maybe polish the internals? If you could try another barrel as well. Take it apart and clean everything so there's no friction or no drag, no small bits and pieces to get in the way, and that will help as well.
Yep. Hey, for those of you that are out there while we're talking about
HBA is
this,
a pretty
I was
good
going to
upgrade.
suggest a new barrel.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about that, Joe and I recently got into our shops the new Stella barrel from Inception Designs. And I have to tell you, I haven't had a lot of chance to do much with them, but just with the limited amount that I've looked at them and shot it, it's fantastic. If you get an opportunity, guys, go to your local shop and ask for this Stella barrel from Inception Designs. We won't get into it right now, why it's so good, all the technology behind it, but definitely check it out for sure. Maybe we'll do a video up and show people out there.
Something else that the Stella has that's going for it that most other barrels don't have on the market is the way it displays, and it's just the unique display properties of the Stella is fantastic. So we have to thank Simon Stevens for that. So anyone looking for a new barrel system, Stella's for you.
Yeah. All right. And you know what? Looks like Simon Stevens is in the chat form. He's under Simon Inception in the chat. So if you have any questions, send all your questions right to him and he'll answer them right now. He's letting people know, hey guys, if you have any questions, ask me now. I'm in the chat. So head on over and ask Simon Stevens, send him a private message.
All right, Simon, how did you name it?
Okay, well, we have to wait for his response. So
Yeah, that was me asking Simon.
In the
Simon,
meantime, then
how
let's
did you name
let's
it?
get some more
This
questions
is
going.
2014. Things are almost instantaneous.
Yeah.
It's not
Dun,
like
dun,
we're
dun.
waiting on the Pony Express or
Yeah.
someone to write a teletype.
Waiting on the mail.
Dustin, on another note, I have to welcome you back into the show. It's nice to have your voice across the table from us asking questions on Question Time.
Yeah, well, good to be back. Good to be back.
No, it's not.
I have another question here from
Yes.
Dylan Sauer. What are your guys' opinions on melee weapons like Tomahawk? He has one. He has a Nerf Tomahawk, and he likes to throw it at people at big games.
Yeah, what about if you throw your melee weapon and you knock some guy's goggles off and he gets shot in the face by someone that has a ramping paintball shooter? And then how bad would you feel? We don't allow physical contact at our place. I guess some places they do allow melee weapons, jousting, and sword fights and catapults and things like that.
I saw a pretty cool crossbow last year at your field, Joe.
That was but with shooting paintballs.
Yeah, but it was cool.
But I think this guy's talking about a tomahawk. He dips in some sort of ink and he runs up and he goes, and he tries to chop him or something.
No, I'm going to punch you in the face if you do that.
Like the knives. A lot of people use those rubber knives, too.
Yeah, I'm going to punch
Yeah.
that guy in the face, too.
Well, speaking
And just so you guys know, that wasn't Zuby talking, actually. That was actually me.
Well, speaking punching someone in the face, someone's called in on Skype tonight, as we promised. This is our friend Eric Engler, Matt, we're going to have to crank his volume up there. Dusty, you have him live?
Yeah, crank him up.
Oh, stand by.
Yeah, not my headphones.
He's listening to some
Show.
techno music. All right. How's that? Can we hear him now?
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
We can
You're
hear
like
you
that
now.
American TV commercial.
My own bell tonight.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, guys. So we have Eric Engler in the studio on Skype. Eric Engler is the owner of Engler Custom Creations, as I like to call it, or Engler Customs. What is so special about Eric, guys? Why do we have him in the studio tonight?
I think Eric is one of the foremost authorities and modifiers of Tipman markers and turning into likenesses of real current and vintage firearms.
He likes to modify, trick out, customize paintball markers. Now, is it just Tipman that you work with, or are you working with anything?
I'll do just about anything. I've done a lot of Phantoms and right.
I have my own belt too.
I've done a lot of stuff in Phantoms. I've done some cockers. I've done just about anything. Used to do a whole bunch of iron.
Very nice. We're gonna have to isolate that one at home. So very good. Now, if I had an idea for a custom gun and I sent you an email and said, "Hey, I have this gun and I'd like to have it done," what sort of a turnaround or would I be looking at if I wanted to create something fantastic?
It all depends on the project. It could be 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months. I've done different projects. The current one I'm
all that snapping and pointing, Todd, that's for you. Sorry, Eric.
No, that's okay. Hey, people can snap at Todd. I've heard that.
There's like 4 people in the studio snapping their fingers and pointing at Todd, staring aimlessly at the
We need
wall.
one of those tomahawks to throw at him.
Right. All right, maybe we get him
Need a
by the
melee
Nerf
weapon.
rocket.
There
There we go.
Now the people at home watching us live can have a video of you.
As opposed to extreme close-up
if you're
of Eric's
listening,
forehead.
It was basically your forehead. If you guys are listening at home, I apologize, but now we have a visual on Eric. He is a handsome fellow, isn't he?
He is that goatee is
Yeah.
thick and luscious.
What's coming to you tonight from my kitchen table? So
I see that, and I enjoy Roger Rabbit hanging behind you.
Eric, I have a question. What time zone are you in?
I'm Eastern time.
Oh, same time as we are. Just looks darker there than it does here. If I'm looking out your window.
Or is it because you black out your windows because you do some shenanigans?
No. We have perfect windows. Thank you very much. And no, I'm not going to fall for that one. Sorry.
Very good. Now, you were telling me, Eric, a little bit about a new project you're working on, and I thought I saw a video clip the other day in reference to an airplane. Are you able to talk about that?
Sure, I can. I've been working on that for 8 months. That is actually 2 under-wing mount pods for a P-72 trainer aircraft. It'll have 2 machine gun simulators in it firing oxygen and propane, and then in the middle, it'll have a paintball gun. It's actually going to have a set of phenoms in each pod, and they will actually shoot nylon balls for ground practice, for demonstration, not at people. And then, for while it's flying, we're actually putting a set of morph fighters in it that you guys saw at Extravaganza.
Wow. Very cool. Yes, I wouldn't want to be under the plane when it flies by.
No, definitely not. It's gonna have some serious firing capability, and it's gonna be pretty neat. We'll get some video of it when it's actually finally mounted. It's actually gonna wind up in Italy.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, is the military budget in Italy slashed? Is that why they're mounting paintball stuff on?
No, this is a guy who actually does flyby demonstrations at air shows. He's an eccentric guy, but aren't we all? So.
Yeah, I would say.
I'm glad he's not Malaysian.
Too soon?
It's not too soon. You already let it go, sir.
Very good. Now, we had an opportunity to have you on our show at Extravaganza. How did you enjoy that?
Oh, it was excellent. Trying to being on the other side of the camera or on the other side of the counter, as it were, was pretty good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, very good. So now you keep talking about phenoms and stuff. Is Tipman your brand of choice for when you're modifying guns out?
It is my brand of choice simply because of the reliability. We all know, and field owners know too, that you can't kill one. and I don't like to get guns back to work on them. And a lot of my stuff is hard to take apart. So if you take it apart more than once a year, it's a lot of work. So it better not break.
Yeah. For sure. All right, Eric, so if anybody wants to have something customized or tricked out by Angler Customs, how would they get a hold of you?
Or modified.
Just you can either email me at information@anglerpaintballguns.com or just check us out on anglerpaintballguns.com or Facebook.
For sure. And if you still need that link, get me on Facebook or send me an email, and we'll get you in touch with Eric. Eric, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight.
Anytime. Thank you guys for having me. It's always a blast.
For sure. Thank you, sir, and we'll see you out there.
Thanks, Eric.
Bye, Eric.
See you, sir.
Bye, Eric.
Ciao. So, guys, that was Angler from Angler Customs. So check them out, anglercustoms.com. Matt, you have some more questions?
I do, but Dusty's hogging all the sheets, so
sorry.
You can
He's got to
snap
mop
at him.
up all that drool after looking up the strike loader.
All right, so Jaron David Sanchez is wondering, what's the best thing to do when you're bunkered down in Speedball and don't know where anybody else is?
Get your melee axe out.
Yeah. Well, you got to stick your head up at some point if you're not sure where they are.
You can't call for an airstrike.
No. You know what?
Grenade.
You'll be able to when Eric's done with the plane.
Yeah. Can we? The only thing I would suggest is listen to your teammates. Your teammates should be calling out what they see on the field. If you're the last guy left, then the only thing you can do is get your gun out and get your head up and start looking around.
Todd.
Yes, Joe.
Seb, I'll let you finish, but Seb's not here, and I have an update on this. Will sort of coincide with this question.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm good.
I know Seb. Yeah. I know Seb was working on this, but there is talk of the PSP allowing teams because they've eliminated sideline coaching to have with the advance of heads up displays and goggles. There is discussions about having each team allowed to have their own drone flying over the field and giving players their own display on heads up monitors on their goggles, so they'll get real time action and stuff. I know that's in negotiations and discussions. Plus, they'll be able to get real time video for Matty Marshall's the PSP broadcast. What's that called?
The paintball access.
Paintball access. So I know that there is some talk about that. And
will you have to pay for the $10 subscription on Sunday, or
you will have to, but you'll get some different footage as well.
Nice.
To be able to do something like they do in stadiums and so on and so forth. But for the players that are hunkered down and bunkered down in the middle of a firefight, they will be able to get heads up display of what's live action on the field. So just FYI.
Connor Baker in the chat decided to stick around for the after show.
Oh, hi,
he did
Connor.
not go.
Welcome,
Very nice.
Connor.
White Feather in the chat suggests to this fellow behind the bunker in the speedball field to throw some smoke. I don't know if that's in PSP regulation
He said
rules.
throw a smoke, which brings up the next thing. You shouldn't be smoking. It's actually bad for your health.
Yes,
lose all
sir.
that cardio.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going on these questions.
All right. Retail Jackson writes in, why are Canadians the best thing to happen in paintball, and why aren't my balls straight when I shoot at them?
I enjoy that question. Good for him.
There's a two-part question, Todd. I think you should probably take the first part, and we'll let Joe take the second part.
What was the first part? I was derailed by the second part. Why are Canadian paintballers...
Why are Canadians the best thing to happen to paintball?
I don't know. I will say that we have quite a paintball culture here where we're from. We're in a kind of a golden horseshoe. There's a lot of population in our area, and there is a lot of paintball talent that comes out of this area.
Well, Toronto's the fourth largest city on the continent. It's, I believe, Mexico City, New York, Toronto, LA, or something like that. We're the fourth. Toronto is the fourth largest city, so you've got lots of population around here.
Yeah, for sure. So there is quite a bit of hotbed here, and there really isn't much to do in Canada other than paintball and ski. So
dog sled,
hockey, curling.
So we do have a lot of people playing paintball. What was the second part of that question, Jamie? You were going to answer. Why is his balls not flying straight?
Yeah, what's wrong? Why don't his balls fly straight?
Because he needs a new barrel. Try Stella.
Olé.
Very good.
Know. Could be the temperature.
Oh, we got Wolf in the chat forum. Hoorah! How are you, sir? He asked if anyone knows how many paid views they received. Paintball Access. I didn't get those numbers. I don't know.
Our research department will get them right now.
Yeah. Can you find those out for us, research department? Great.
Research department.
Sorry?
They're talking to you, Dusty.
Yeah, I caught on to that.
Wow, you're loud.
Sorry.
You say Suri a lot.
Suri?
I don't know what you're talking
I'm Canadian.
about.
He's Canadian, yeah. His balls don't fly straight. Sorry.
He hasn't said disinclude yet.
Yes,
So
disincluded.
He's on a roll.
If his balls don't fly straight, does he walk in circles?
He would.
Yeah.
Left-handed turn.
All right.
All right, so Craig Crowder wonders what is the best paint to use in hot weather or cold weather. He is from Texas.
Round ones.
Yeah, what does he mean by cold weather?
Yeah, his cold weather and our cold weather are two completely different machines.
Well, wasn't PSP Dallas pretty chilly?
It was nasty.
It was around freezing, like 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is freezing. I don't know.
I think it was right around 40 degrees.
The best thing to do to be in hot or even cold or damp weather would be to try to keep your paint as dry as possible. If you're out of field, don't put it on the ground in the box. Leave it on the table. The paint will absorb moisture, thus expanding and making your balls larger.
Yeah.
So,
Joe and I have gone through this a lot with our team, and you got to look at paint in the way of tournament paintballs are very brittle and very fragile. And on a cold day, always not the best. What we do is, if it's that cold and that miserable out, we'll put the tournament paintball away and we'll actually grab field-grade paintballs because they're more resilient, robust, thicker shelled, and they'll hold up in that cold temperature. And even though it's cold outside and those shells are thick and harder, they still break. They break very well, and they're not breaking in your gun as often as the tournament stuff does. So gauge your paint to the weather, that's for sure. Any field grade paint is like a decent field grade paint would be acceptable for that matter.
I would say so.
If you're in Canada or northern states and you're asking what kind of paint works in like winter, most manufacturers offer a polar ice type paint like Empire does. Seek that out when you're playing outside.
Sika, do you remember Sika?
Jaeger 9 says at -5 degrees Fahrenheit, the polar ice paint fails. Well, that's pretty bloody cold.
Well, we'll call it -9 Fahrenheit. What is that in Celsius?
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit? That's like -23, -24.
Yes.
It's a lot
Everything
colder
fails
than
at -5 Fahrenheit.
The only thing that'll work in that is an FT12 or a combat.
Yeah.
Or
the other thing is, don't leave your
Or a
paint out.
pumpkin.
Leave your paint somewhere where it's warm, like in your car or somewhere, and only bring out what you need at that time, and try not to have it out there for too long.
Wouldn't that be a good day for a first strike game?
Oh, frozen first strikes.
Can you
Wouldn't that be a
imagine?
treat?
No day is a good day for first
No
strike.
day is a good day. Zuby.
Zuby needs
The
to
greatest thing that could ever happen in paintball is first strike rounds disappear.
William, if you're listening at home, we need a shirt for Zuby that's double X or triple X.
Quadruple X?
Double X?
Extra large.
Let's get him a double extra shirt, and it needs to say, I enjoy first strike rounds. Or maybe a picture of a first strike round with a big X through it would be more appropriate.
How about just I heart first strike?
Oh.
Keep calm and first strike on.
Yeah.
I envision a shirt that Zuby would actually wear would be a picture of a first strike round with a big X through it, like a no parking sign. Very nice.
You guys make me sad on the inside and outside.
The only person that got my Sika reference was Wolf.
I missed it.
No one even knows who Sika
There
is.
was a time where we...
Isn't that the Canadian, like...
No, it's not.
They're
Just
they made watches, do they not?
no.
That's Seiko.
Oh.
Seika. Google SEKA in the reference and
Yeah.
do images.
He was a wrestler.
You're also
in
thinking of
WWE.
Casio, and Casio
No.
used to make keyboards.
That's
Come
a-
on, Simon, you
Sika
should
is
have
a
got
girl.
that. Yes, that's right. Sika.
Yeah.
80s. Anyway,
Very nice.
continue.
I was born in the 80s.
Well, that's fine.
Wolf, it's nice to see you again, sir. We need to get Wolf on the show one of these days. Maybe he'll make a trek down on a Monday night and join us live in the studio here. Yeah.
Yay.
All right. Let's keep this going.
What about Poetry Corner? Do we have that?
We need to hit Poetry Corner.
Poetry Corner.
I forgot about it, too.
Why don't we hit one more question while Jamie loads up his Poetry Corner?
Well, I light the fire.
Well,
Light the fire.
Jamie writes his poetry on parchment paper with an old feather and ink, so it's going to take him a few minutes to break out his parchment paper.
All right, so my next question is from Cabron Abrams, and he's
Is he a
wondering,
tank?
what is the I don't know. Maybe he's got a mini or an
has an
Axe or
eating
a
problem.
TM15 or maybe a TM7.
That
One
was
of
him in
these
the mall.
5.
Oh, we just lost another viewer.
Sorry.
He's wondering what is the best upgrade for his mini Axe TM15 TM7.
Barrel. Start with the barrel.
The Exalt Bolt.
Yeah, the Exalt Squishy Bolt Tip is really good. If you're looking for an internal upgrade, a barrel you can never go wrong. The stock barrels are okay, but an aftermarket barrel is by far the better way to go. Did I take the wind out of your sails? I'm sorry.
No, it's not. And all three of those, the Axe, the TM7, and the TM15 are all Cocker thread, so you could buy one barrel and kill 3 birds with one stone. Haha.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Wolf's asking what is Poetry Corner. Well, every week on our podcast, starting last week,
Something we've been doing for a long time now.
takes a moment and actually reads a home creation of his own. Last week was brilliant. I can only imagine what he's come up with this week. So, Jamie, are you ready for Poetry
I'm
Corner?
ready.
Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da.
We need silence.
This week's poem is called Green Paint That Splats. I am defender. Defender I am. I do not like this defender I am. Do you wipe green paint that splats? I do not wipe. Defender I am. I do not wipe green paint that splats. Would you wipe it here or there? I would not wipe it here or there. I would not wipe it anywhere. I do not wipe green paint that splats. I do not wipe, defender I am. Would you wipe it off your gun? Would you wipe it just for fun? Would you wipe it from your pack? Would you wipe it off your back? Would you wipe it off your lens? Would you wipe it for your friends? I would not wipe green paint that splats, not off my gun, not just for fun, not from my pack, not off my back, not off my lens, not off my friends. I do not wipe green paint that splats. Would you wipe it off your stock? Would you wipe it off your cocking lever? Would you wipe it off your trigger? Would you wipe it off my nice African American teammate? Would you wipe it off your barrel? Would you wipe it off yoga apparel? I would not wipe green paint that splats. Not off my stock. Not off my cocking lever. Not off my trigger. Not off my nice African American teammate. Not off my barrel. Not off my yoga apparel. I do not wipe green paint that splats. Defender I am. And I play fair. The end.
Oh my god.
Jamie, that was awesome.
Oh boy.
So again, if you listen to last week's podcast at about the 28-minute, you'll hear Poetry Corner. This week, again, Jamie did an excellent poem.
Absolutely. And if you would like to construct a poem and have Jamie read it on the air,
with a disclaimer,
absolutely, send it in to show@behindthebunker.com and maybe you can be a published poet.
Wolf probably doesn't know that from last week, but I am a published poet. And
Yes.
my work can be found at the Preston Library for the 10 and under category.
Yes.
Maybe one week I'll read that one that got published. I won.
Very nice. All right. So send in those poems now.
I think I'm going to have to pre-record them
Wow.
so that I can get through them.
I had a hard time getting through that.
I was good till I looked over at you guys.
All right, so Connor Baker has a question. He's
Hope it's not
wondering.
about the poem.
No, not about the poem,
Thank
but that
God.
might come up. Eric Angler says his face hurts. A bunch of people say, like, the Wolf says Dr. Zeus is rolling in his grave. But this question does nothing to do with the poem. All right, Connor Baker writes in, what is your guys' opinion on the new Ninja SL tanks? Do you really think it'll make that much of a difference?
Ask Zuby.
Also,
It already has, and they're not even on the market.
Also, what do you think of the new rate of fire lowered to 10.5?
Can we go back to the tanks? 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
let's
not-
start. Let's do the two-piece
Yeah,
question.
go
Yeah.
to the tank first.
Because
So
I don't know about the tank.
Let Zuby talk about the tanks. He was quite quite
Taken by it?
Enamored?
Yeah, it is. So they've
my word.
affected or changed the construction of the outside of the tank. So you actually end up with a larger size tank with your with an older size. So like the 45-45 is more like a 68-45, same size. It's 30% lighter, and it comes with the Ninja 2 rag. So if you think about it, if you are used to having a 68-45, you put a 68-45 on now, you're gonna be looking almost at a 90-45. Thank you, Todd. At the same size. So look at it this way: you can now carry a 6+5 out on the field pod pack or harness, and you now have enough air to shoot it using almost any marker that you have. 30% lighter than a standard tank.
Yeah.
How does that not change paintball?
You know what? 30% doesn't seem like a lot till you actually go and pick up one of those and compare it to another one. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sing the praise of something I don't need to, but it was a big difference. It really was. It was very impressive.
Todd, how did they accomplish this?
They made the walls of the tank 10 times thinner. No, I'm just kidding.
Is it a different material? Or
No, I think it's the same thing.
More space-aged material? Maybe they use Luan.
I think it's definitely a new type of material because the one that we had didn't seem to be carbon wrapped. It was something else.
But it was the same size as a 68-45 and lighter.
68-45, but it was the same size as a 45-45.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was lighter. That's like, I don't know if they use new material or whatever, but wow.
You want to talk about holding in that kind of PSI? I think Lululemon should come out with tanks. I've seen them hold in some stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh
but
man.
They also have a new valve, a new regulator coming out with a ball bearing valve versus the pin valve.
The Pro 2.
Is that Lululemon or Ninja?
Ninja.
We're back to paintball, Ducky.
My bad.
Yeah. All right. Part 2 of that question was about the ramping decrease in speeds. Dusty, did you watch any of the PBA?
Yeah, I watched Friday and Saturday. I didn't get into this Sunday.
No, that's okay, Rockefeller. But you did watch it. What did you think? It
was a little bit slower, but it was good paintball all the way around. I don't know whether it helps conserve paint, but
you think the games were slower?
Yeah, just because there's less people getting shot off the break. I found, anyways.
I think you're right. I enjoyed the fact that less people got shot off the break, but I like the fact that the games broke out a little bit differently. Not the breakout. Sorry. Once the game progressed, people were making more aggressive moves up the field.
Yeah, you had to
and
capitalize.
weren't necessarily getting caught on it. You know what I mean? Not every time. There was a couple more openings, so I think it's going to make the games a little more interesting as the teams figure out how to contend with the slower balls per second.
Yeah, there's a lot of waiting for opportunities to open up and having to capitalize on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Why does everyone keep talking about the reduction to 10.2? Don't you mean returning to 10.2?
Yeah.
10.5?
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't really care. I honestly don't care.
How many balls a second could you get your mag to go back in the day? No, I'm being serious.
Pulling the trigger as fast as I could?
Yeah.
Now, are you talking about with the high output trigger and the trigger bounce?
Well, let's say you were using...
Or just
legal.
Did you see the excitement in Zuby's voice when you brought that up?
Auto mag what?
Holy crap. Dude, the trigger bounce you used to put the Eagle 11 to shame.
Because back in the day, before electronic markers, you had guys shooting, mechanical cockers and, auto mags and stuff.
With bolts double drilled and doing the bounce off the back beaver tail, yeah.
Yeah, but you...
But you don't remember that? Double shot?
But what were you getting? 4 balls a second, maybe? At best?
Pulling the trigger
3 to 4?
Yeah, 4, maybe 5.
Yeah. You could still hit a lot of damn
once
things.
Once you got it tuned up, maybe you get a little trigger bounce going on. You could get up to 8.
And then you went from that to semi-auto guns, unramping, but semi-auto guns where you could feather those triggers and kids could get those up to 18 balls a second without a pinch.
Yeah.
I remember kids, we were chronographing them at the field and using crony guns, and they were getting 18 balls a second just because they had Tourette's of the fingers. Like, they could just...
Yeah.
It was unbelievable, and that was without ramping.
Do you remember when the Black Magic Cocker came out?
Those are so nice.
Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, well. Well, let's move on. I'm sure no one wants to hear us regaling of old tales. Maybe they do.
The glory of
the old people.
Sika was an old tale.
All right.
Dusty?
That means questions.
Yeah. Sorry. I was reliving my...
Sika.
Yeah. All right. David Veladov. What are the top 3 products you saw at Paintball Extravaganza, and why? Was it a new gun platform, new loader, ...
Zuby, go.
I wasn't there.
Oh yeah, I first one I have to say is I know it's going to be a pretty broad umbrella, but anything at Simon's booth was phenomenal. The Ninja tank stuck out, and dare I say, the eyes on. The eyes on taught me a very, very important lesson about the paintball industry. People are willing to put out anything. People demand it, even if it looks and feels terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's no accounting for some people's taste, right? Some people think
yeah,
they were the most
and that's just my
disgusting
opinion.
Yeah,
Other
looks
people
like
think
Vader.
it's phenomenal.
That's
I
right.
look at it and I go,
Yep.
who in their right mind would put this on their face and trust it to stop a paintball?
Yeah.
You do realize Jamie's sitting like right beside
Yeah,
you.
I'm taking this kind of personal.
I have feelings.
Was fighting the parking lot afterwards.
Yeah.
Joe, what do you
Can
have
write
to
a poem
say?
about it
Easy
next
on
week.
the angle eyes.
What did I like at Extravaganza?
Apparently
A lot of them, the Tittman TCR I liked, TCR. I also liked the MagFed adapter that's coming for the 98. That's pretty revolutionary.
Yeah.
The Stella barrels, the Milsig stuff I liked, and some of the Rap 4.
Yeah.
And of course, the Flat Dark Earth Defender was a showstopper.
Jamie, I know you didn't attend the event, but was there anything that stuck out that you knew was released there that you found was kind of cool?
The TCR. I was living vicariously through you guys being there.
Yeah.
While I stayed here and tended to the real world.
Yeah.
And definitely the TCR. I like it.
I will agree that the Stella Barrel was up there for me. The TCR was up there for me. But the other two things that I would say is the J4 Torque gun. Now that it's finally released, I'm very curious to see what that looks like, if it's going to be a success and how that's going to go. Would love to get my hands on one of those and see. The other thing is Rap 4, of all people, had a gun that I thought was pretty cool. I won't say too much about it because I don't recall if I'm allowed to say, but some of the ones I'm talking about specifically were already being used by a segment of the market that was not paintball, and we had an opportunity to fire it, and it was pretty fantastic. I thought it was pretty cool.
It had actual 10-pound trigger pull. It was very cool. It was a training device, but they'll be available for paintball at some point.
So not to be secretive. I wasn't sure if I'm allowed to say anything about that, but it was. I think that was pretty cool. Matt, did you see anything that you thought was pretty badass that we missed?
Pretty much anything that was not mag-fed.
Mag-fed overkill, eh?
Not a big mag-fed.
It was mag-fed extravaganza.
Parker and Milo are mag-fed.
Yes.
C4 explosives, the strike loader baby carrier combo.
Attaboy.
That's awesome.
Good for you. All right, let's move on. We got a couple more questions to get to.
All right. Corey Verbust wonders, do you think repetitive paintball bruises will distort his tattoo?
Oh, I read that, and you know what? I was going to ask
somebody.
Yeah, I was going to ask a tattoo person.
Can you circle that, and we'll come back to it next week?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, put a pin in that.
Yeah, let's put a pin in that, and we'll talk to someone if you could find out. I'd be curious because I
should have someone in from Lucky Souls.
Oh, yeah, I know people.
The guy who did Joe's tattoo.
Someone asked a similar question, but it wasn't about a tattoo. And I talked to a doctor last year, Dr. Hugh, a friend of ours, and he had a really good explanation for it. I'm going to see if we can. If you talk to the tattoo artist first, see what they have to say.
I'll talk to my doctor, Dr. Summeroff.
Summeroff?
Yeah. He's already working on my summer vacation.
Dr. Summeroff. Is he Russian?
Yes.
He's from Crimea.
Yeah.
That's Russia.
I was going to ask Dr. Nick, but I don't think he's a doctor anymore.
Bye, everybody.
Did you hear what happened to Mr. McGregor?
Who's Mr. McGregor?
He's got an arm for a leg and a leg for an arm. Yes. Simpsons reference.
Joe and I will carry on with the show.
All right, let's keep this show going.
Do you have another one?
Another question?
Yeah.
We have another answer that we're going to apply to whatever question that you ask.
I already have my answer picked before you ask.
Doesn't matter what the question
Let's
is.
all give our answers first.
It's like Jeopardy.
Dusty handed me a mitt full of pages. I'm trying to sort of root through them.
Dusty does have a mitt, doesn't he?
I'm trying to get an answer. A buddy of mine owns two tattoo parlors, one in London, one in Stratford, and I'm just sending him a message.
Okay, but before you go, but hold on, before you go any further, we have paid sponsors that pay good money to be on the show, so do not advertise for your friend. Unless he wants to give Joe or someone a free tattoo.
This is more or less a trivia question. Liam Weaver wants to know...
Iron Men.
Maybe.
Exactly.
Sorry, not Liam.
12.
Johnny Stewart. Who was the first pro player or team?
Oh, the
Me.
The Ducks?
No,
Dynasty?
I think the Iron Man. Well, no, what the hell? Navarone.
Oh.
The Navarone from California. They were sponsored by JT and Line SI Bushmaster.
And Iron Men have been around for quite some time.
That's true.
But the Ducks, I don't know if they were ever pro, but they've been around for years. And the Master Blasters, these are all teams that I'm thinking that have been around for a long time, but I don't think have ever been pro. But
I think
maybe
think
the I don't know.
Navarone was. Why don't we?
Bushwhackers?
Bushwhackers.
Let's ask Simon. He probably developed their marker.
Dusty may have an answer.
Hey
here.
guys, I have your first marker.
Wait, I have. Let us each answer the question. Each of us will answer
that
the
with an
question
English accent?
that we haven't been asked and see who gets the closest.
This is
Todd,
voice cracking.
answer, and we don't know what the question is. Make an answer. Whoever the one of us that gets
Okay, I like this.
Wait, what?
Give an answer to the question that hasn't been asked, and we'll see who's closest after they ask
actually
it.
answer
Okay.
it
For the next question?
Yeah.
Are we actually going to answer this question first, though? Because I did come up
okay.
with an answer for this.
Well, that's
Okay.
What one are you talking about?
Well, then answer it.
The last
So, as of January, there's an article on paintball.com. It's stating that in MPPL, the oldest team currently competing is what they call the Wild Geese. They were first competing in 1983.
Yeah, that doesn't say the first team. It just says the longest team. But
Yeah, they're currently.
Yeah, but the whole
competing.
sport only started in like '81. So really,
It started in 1983.
Does anyone else feel let down from the research department?
yeah, I think that was pretty good. Okay, let's do this.
Did you pick the question already?
Yes, I have a question picked out, so you'll each have to
Who
come
wants
up with
to
an
go
answer.
first?
Okay.
Jamie?
Todd.
Or Todd.
I would say Krylon paint because that's the most durable finish. Okay, what's the question?
No,
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 you
no,
all
no,
have
no,
to
no,
come
no.
up
Okay,
with
I'm sorry. I thought we were doing,
You're not the only one playing.
I
This
thought we were
game.
doing question. Okay, go ahead.
I'll go next.
Okay.
I'm going to say probably the first thing you should look at is a new barrel.
See, I didn't go with the obvious one. I thought
I'm trying to win. I don't know what you win, but we're going to win something.
Do you want to go next, Joe?
Joe made the game. He gets to go last.
No. Okay. My answer is no because first strike rounds are stupid.
I would say it's probably time to get high pressure air.
Oh, Joe's classic. You know, oldie but goodie.
Before we answer the question, we have a couple things: the paraplegic turtles and the Terminators. I don't know if we talked about those.
Terminators are from near Brooklyn. They played at RLD games.
Yeah.
So they're pretty old. We're early '80s.
All right. So what's the question, Matt? Who won that one?
Oh, I wasn't really paying much attention. So,
That's how close those answers are.
Matt doesn't pay attention, and Joe doesn't listen to the
good.
show.
so Jordan Nickel wins the random question award. Has paintball taught you anything for real world things? Is the question.
Yeah, Krylon is the most durable finish for
no,
paintball.
first strike rounds are stupid.
It's time to get in high pressure air.
And it taught me the first thing I should upgrade is a new barrel.
there we
there you
go.
go.
We all
Boom,
won.
we all won.
Nice.
We are good at this. I am going to sign up for Jeopardy right now.
You're all winners.
What is time for
win
a new barrel?
You win.
Okay. Next.
Now you
Nothing?
can we
No?
can we spin the wheel of fish?
Wheel
Okay.
of fish. Okay, next.
How do you even make a sound for that? Like,
Wow, wow,
Wolf sucking up to Zuby.
What?
whoa.
No one listening can read the chat.
No. And speaking of which, if you guys are listening to us on iTunes or Podomatic, thank you very much for subscribing to us and listening to us on our podcast. If you get an opportunity to watch us live on Monday, we're far more charming in person. Come join us live and join us in the live chat. And for all of you that are watching us on YouTube, it's great that you're watching us on YouTube. I appreciate that. But if you head on over to www.behindthebunker.com, you can actually join in on the conversation. We have a live chat window. So although you can comment on the video section, we don't see it when we're live. So come on over. Don't be shy. Log in, and we promise to be nice.
Come on over. Don't be shy. Get a
Okay.
little closer.
All right, so we're ready for another
Ready
question.
for a question.
With
your
It's
nod.
almost time for Blacklist.
Oh,
We gotta go.
Blacklist.
TV show. 10 o'clock.
They're
All
not.
right.
They're not a sponsor either.
Hey, hey,
I'm
hey.
watching it.
all right. So the next question: Oh.
Yeah,
Hand
go ahead.
signals.
Yeah.
So, which kit is the best for a Tippett A5?
I answered that last question.
We answered that last week.
Barrel.
All right.
No, I just answered it with my random answer.
So no one scribbled it
The
out.
G36.
All right.
G36 kit.
So we're moving on with Chris's question.
Takamo,
Okay.
Magfit.
And this will be, unfortunately, the final question of the evening.
All right, so
Aw.
Chris gets the last one in. What was the first marker that you owned? His was the Benjamin Sheeran PGP pump pistol back in '89.
Oh.
That's a great question.
That's a good question.
I would like to know Zuby.
I'm
Minimag.
embarrassed by mine.
Really? Your first one ever?
My very
Really?
first marker that I owned was a Minimag.
Yep, same here.
That's pretty advanced.
Jamie?
My first marker I owned was a Carbine 68.
Yep.
Nice.
I remember you playing with that. It was heavy.
Do you remember
and
that?
big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like you could almost call that a training firearm just because it was so heavy that,
That was
it was
the
like training.
original. That was the first ever scenario paintball gun before scenarios made by Pro Team Products. They made them for the Rangers in Fort Benning, Georgia.
Yeah, and it had a 20-ounce bottle hanging where a magazine would be. It wasn't for the weak at heart. And there was no slings back then.
I remember I was the newest of the noob when I saw you with that gun the first day that I came up to the field, and I was very envious. I thought it was great. And I think I even went up to you and asked you to hold it, and then I walked away and I went, wow, that's like like it's cool, but it's heavy.
You didn't need a battery loader with that because it shook so much.
Yeah. Do you know that
Used
day
to shake
that
so much it wouldn't drop down the shaky
No
chute.
problem.
that day that I played against you, I was given a Spider TL Plus.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sniper barrel?
It glistened
No,
in
they
this.
didn't
No, I
even-
couldn't.
they
No,
just chrome.
I wasn't that privileged.
Weren't sure if we were keeping you.
Although
at that
my
point.
barrel was probably micro honed. A scam that Joe used to do at the old field.
It's not a scam.
I micro honed them.
What were those things called? Those hones that I had. I have one somewhere in a package. I'll bring it out.
My first gun was a Sheridan rifle, KP3, and my first one that I guess my next one was a Cocker. Yeah, that was the big purchase. I was so excited. I saved my pennies up, and then I upgraded the hell out of that one.
Then he asked my sister to marry him, and then
Shit went downhill.
My first gun was a Mark I Uzi, or they're made by Darkside, plastic body, internal magazine.
Sick.
Held 38 rounds. It was pump action.
Wolf in the chat says his first was a Piranha Pump. Infamous Clown says that his was a Spider Victor 1. Snoop Wolf, A5 was his. C4 Explosive, 68 Carbine.
I heard a rumor that Dustin's first paintball marker was the one and only closed bolt Lux.
I would definitely have to say my first paintball gun was that Brass Eagle, the clear plastic pumper.
Oh, wow.
That was my
Nice.
first.
That's too bad.
Simon's first one was a Lapco Spectre, but in England, it's funny, the Lapco Spectre, the pump was on the right-hand side of the gun, so it's just interesting.
Now, I'm going to pick
With
on...
the evil omens
For
in England,
drive-bys.
was the reed on the opposite side, or was it on the right?
No, in England, everything they were on the right-hand side. It was kind of the feet were on the right-hand, on the left-hand side.
Now, Jagger9 in the chat, I'm going to pick on you for a second. He says his first gun was a was the Hammer, but he also had a WG65 by Armatech.
Jesus.
Can anyone in the chat forum honestly tell me that they own an Armatech gun and it actually functioned and worked properly? Not to
No, it's not possible.
not to disclude them, but I've never seen a working Armatech.
They were like the first mass-produced
Pieces of
mil
garbage.
sim type piece of thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretty much guarantee Joe's still got his Carbine 68.
I do.
Have you ever done that on your?
Yeah, I did.
Have you taken that out of the vault?
Yeah, I've done a vault on that.
What about Dusty? What was your first gun?
We covered that already.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
My
a
Brass
Talon.
Eagle
It was a
Talon,
Talon.
that's it. And then I went on to an Electro Piranha, and then my 04 Cocker.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Matt, you were a AGD.
Yeah, my first was a mini mag that I purchased from Joe's store. I believe it was used.
Was there a store back then?
Yes.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
good.
All right, guys. So, hey, just a reminder, if you want to win tickets to Living Legends 7, all you need to do is post a picture of yourself on our Facebook page, Behind the Bunker, and we're going to do a draw for it next week. Not necessarily the best picture, but we'll do a random draw and see if we can maybe see if you'll win. All you need to do, again, is post any picture of yourself playing paintball. Keep them tasteful, so my page doesn't get shut down. Other than that, Zuby, thank you for being on the program tonight.
No, thank you, Todd.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
And thanks, everyone, for listening.
Very good. Do you listen every week?
I do.
Do you listen and rewind?
Yep.
You spend an awful lot of time in your car commuting and stuff.
I don't necessarily rewatch the show, but I listen to the podcast every morning on my drive to work.
Yeah, I do too. And to be honest with you, it's something I look forward to. It's what I do on Wednesdays because that's when I usually drive.
I actually find myself pretty funny.
Narcissistic.
Actually,
you know what? 2 days from now,
let me take a selfie.
Zuby's going to be somewhere in his car and he's going to be chuckling right now.
He's so handsome too.
I think it's funny when I say I'm funny.
When I listened to the podcast last week for the first time because I was listening to Jamie's poetry, I was listening and I thought to myself, Zuby's pretty funny.
Yeah. See, the thing is, you get lost in Zuby's eyes and you don't really listen to what he says. He's like that cute girl at the bar. You're looking at her. You're just not paying attention to her. What's wrong, sweetie? You don't like that?
Except for you're big and bald and have a beard. Other than that, I mean, just like a cute girl at the bar.
Yeah.
You're just saying that because I have Lululemon underwear on, right?
I'm wearing it.
Jeez.
All right. I don't need to see that.
All right.
I think I'm on this side of the studio.
You didn't say you need to, but you're going to.
And Joe, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to start hearing some details on your shoreline event at Flag Raiders.
We should start to hear some details as they cross the pond. We'll start to hear more details about the shoreline event on September 21st.
Very good.
Have you submitted a poster?
No, a poster's in development.
Just asking.
Very good.
Thank
Actually,
you.
more information from what I understand will be on very shortly. Jaeger9 also just commented that he stopped using his WG65 because of lack of parts. Does anyone want to make the surprised sound?
Oh.
Yeah. Jamie, thank you for being on our podcast, and thank you for that wonderful poem. If the lawyers of Dr. Seuss get a hold of me, I will forward them off to your Facebook
I don't know why
page.
people keep making reference to some doctor. I've never heard of the guy.
Will you have a poem next week?
Dr. Zeus?
I will be. I won't be here next week.
I'll read it for you, and a proxy read it.
That would be great. I will be.
You could Skype in.
I will be flying.
Skype in.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be landed by then.
You know
I'll
what?
Skype in.
We'll post up your poem this week on the Facebook page, and
that's a better way to get sued. That's
invite
good.
people to send in their own poem for next week, and maybe we'll be able to have multiple poems.
Maybe one day we'll have a poem off, like a gangster rap off, but we'll have a gangster poem
We'll
off.
call it a po-off.
What?
Word.
What?
The Slam Poet. Slam Poet Society.
MC Jamie.
What?
Dustin Schnitzelholz, thank you for being in the program tonight.
Yeah.
Matt the Crip, everything work okay on your end? Any technical difficulties?
No, except for my fat fingers not pushing the buttons right.
I use a dialing
The
wand.
fingers you have used to dial
Are too fat.
to order, especially dialing one.
Please smash the
Used to
keyboard.
bed
Do you
now.
still wash yourself with a rag on a stick?
Did you order your moo-moo?
I don't want to look like a freak.
And Joe and I will take care of the sign-off tonight.
Thank you very much for watching the podcast version of Behind the Bunker.
Thanks for watching.
portion.
Here's your
Thank
garbage
you.
bag full of popcorn.
Farewell, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.